myself again. I'm the chairman of the board of management of the Middle Park Bowls Club, where I think, like this club, we've got a board of management and a bowls committee, which was a bit of a hangover from David South, who came from St Kilda, where they had lots of different sections. But it actually works very well, and I think that's actually always something to consider, is like who actually is running the business of the club and who's running the bowls of the club. It's got to the point actually where we've got a firm policy in place that if you're on the board, you're not on the bowls committee, and vice versa, because it muddies the waters. But anyway, that's just something. I joined Middle Park Bowls Club about 7 years ago now. I think this is my 7th year. I was at St Kilda Bowls Club for 3 years prior to that. I was on the committee there. I got addicted to bowls pretty quickly. When I joined Middle Park Bowls Club, I don't know whether any of you people know Middle Park or the Albert Park region or whatever. So there's St Kilda, which is on Fitzroy Street, fairly eclectic sort of club. Albert Park, nice little quaint community club. Middle Park Bowls Club, when I joined, it had the reputation of basically being sexist and ageist, an old man's club. Okay? And that was just basically the demographic, you know, sort of more of the retirees sort of tended to be at Middle Park. And if you're a bit wild, you went up the road to St Kilda. We had 2 teams, we've now got 4. We've had 5. 4's about optimum for us, I reckon. The great thing about Middle Park is we've just got the best setting and location of all time. I don't know whether any of you people know us, but we're sort of, I describe to people, the Grand Prix entrances, where most people sort of know us. We're just there on the left-hand side. We've got about 10 rinks at the front of Tiff Dwarf, 8 at the back, club room in the middle, very, very handy. And then, and I'll tell you the rest of this good story, a 3-rink coach at the back as well. So great location, self-sufficient club, full-time staff of 1, plus a greenskeeper. Not anymore, no, that's now the car park, yeah. And actually, they were gone before I got there. A lot of benefits to members. We have no green fees, free presentation night, including open bar, food, free shirts. If you're a member at Middle Park Bowls Club, it costs you about $100 in your 2nd year to be a full member, and we give you about $400 back in benefits. So it's a pretty good deal, you know, compared to most people. And that's because we're one of the fortunate clubs that have the we're one of the inner city belt of clubs that have the barefoot bowling revenue, and they're people like St Kilda, Melbourne, Middle Park, Richmond Union, Fitzroy Union, and of course our friends here from Brunswick. So when I joined the club, we had a turnover around about $500,000, which to a lot of you people would go, wow, you know, but you get through that pretty quickly. We were in a bit of a boom and bust, make a lot of money into Christmas, spend it all down to nothing, surviving through the year, make the money again. So that was really our first challenges, was try and do that. I'll try and get through this because it's going to take a while. So yeah, I mean, in the time that I've been at Middle Park, I was on the board for 2 of those years, and we were doing okay, but just doing okay, you know, and you can never have too much money, let's face it. You know, there is always something. I look around here and I can see lots of projects, you know, and if I go to any bowls club, I can see lots of things that, you know, we'd like to do. In Middle Park, especially 120 years old, there's a lot of things to do there. Don't worry about that. But it had been run down, you know, over the years. People were happy with the status quo of how it was going along. It wasn't too bad, but it wasn't ever going to get much better anyway. So anyway, we put a new board together 2 years ago. I became chairman of the board. I only did it because I managed to get some really, really hot people on the board. I've got the ex-CEO of the City of Port Phillip, really heavy shaker and mover character, really good treasurer, really good people. We've got 32-year-olds on the board, a lot of young people. Actually, that's something I'll just quickly go to this for a second. Look at this guy here, club champion 2000, singles champion. Have a look at our members. That's why I bought these photos. These are all off Facebook. So you'll see sort of the diversity we actually have amongst. I think that was this year's thirds that won the final and went all the way through to the Divi final, unfortunately, and lost it. But you'll see we've got a lot of 30-year-old guys Well, these guys are all ex-footballers from Albert Park that wanted to keep playing together and doing something. People come to our club and go, how do you get all these people? Well, a lot of it comes from barefoot bowlers. You know, if you're running barefoot bowls and you've got lots of people and you've got events and people turning up, they get interested, you know. You don't see that in a lot of bowling clubs that I go to. People come to Middle Park all the time and say, how come you've got so many women here? How come you've got so many young people here? You know, a couple of wives of bowlers that only actually started bowling a couple of years ago. I don't know whether you guys know Ian Bloor or Tim Morris. They play a lot of comps. Natalie Mann, she's on the bowls committee. I can't remember his name. Sorry, it's the last file. Oh, Gordon Plum. Gordon gets up and sings the club song. He's in his 90s. He sings the club song. He's famous for it. Everyone who's there doing barefoot bowls and everything joins in. Fantastic. Again, it was from the year prior. That was the Force who won the final, and they went all the way through and won the Divi final. Probably you see quite a few similar faces there. You know, we have got a diverse and a young group. Anyway, so yeah, I got on the board a couple of years ago. My mantra, just trying to speed things up, was community engagement. You know, I believe that the success of bowls clubs now is to be more than bowls clubs. If you're going to be a bowls club, people are going to look at this piece of land and go, a new school, you know. The councils and where our lieutenants of Parks Victoria, we've just been through a really difficult release negotiation. They want to see community benefit, or else, as we've seen with a lot of bowls clubs around the place, they'll find a better use for the land. There's no doubt about that. Our piece of land at Middle Park, if it was on the other side of the road, would be worth about $200 million. So, for 120 members, they'd be quite happy to sacrifice that for a new school, which is needed in the area. So it's really important that, you know, we stay relevant and we offer a lot to the community. So we embarked on a program of community engagement, getting young people in, you know, getting old people in, and getting middle-aged people in, getting dogs in. You know, we're actually dog-friendly and kid-friendly. We have kids that turn up on Friday nights after school with their parents, and their parents have glasses of wine, and the kids go out and bowl on the green. Kids this big. There's a group of about 8 of them. Our coach was teaching them how to bowl. It was great to see, really great to see. Cleaning up the place, actually, in this one. Yeah. We've taken 8 of those out. 7 of those out in 12 months so far this year, and we've just ordered another one because it's amazing. I look around this place, I'm not trying to criticise AFL, but there's so much that can be tidied up, can clean up, make the place look better. Bath facilities, full-size billiard table, table tennis. These are all things we've added over the last 18 months. All new furniture.
You have a dress code?
Sorry?
You have a dress code at the club house?
No. No. I didn't expect it to be neat casual, yeah. But
how far down do you work it down?
How far do we work down neat casual?
Yeah.
I think because we run some bucks parties, you might consider that the dress code gets pretty loose. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the other things I've got here for you, yeah. So yeah, tidy the place up. Add other things to interest people other than bowls. Be fun. Like, we are a fun club. You know, that's a very high mantra. People actually have to enjoy coming here. And believe you me, we went out and I was really surprised and played a final in an Eastern Suburbs club, and it was anything but fun. Like, nothing about it was fun. And we were bowlers. Like, we didn't feel welcome. Everything was a problem. Went to a bar, wanted to buy a bottle of wine. Can't say bottle of wine. Why not? Only said bottles of wine with food. Got to sign the visitors book, you know. All the barriers, the things, like, we're a welcoming club. You know, we're begging people to come in our door, you know, and enjoy themselves and sign up, become a social member. We increased our social membership in the last year our total membership from about 300 to 500 in 12 months. It's pretty amazing. And that's a 300 that sort of circulates because people come on and drop off. And so, but this year will be about 500. We'll get up to about 700 next year, I'd say. And they're all just people that are coming along and enjoying the facility. Where are we now? Okay, well, when I joined the club, we had a turnover about $500,000. when I took over as board member, board chairman, I put a new board together. We're at 640. Last year we went to 820. This year we've just done 960. Now that's pre-GST too. So we've hit the $1 million. Yeah, that was the aim this year. A lot of you people might sit there and go, oh, he's talking about money again. But money is what enables us to do all the things that we need to do to make the place more attractive, and it all keeps moving forward. The main thing, I suppose, I wanted to point out in terms of how we made it fun, what have we been doing? We run events. Sorry, we're over here, campaigns. That's our current one, Bowls and Barbecue every Friday night. Come down, free bowling, free coaching, free barbecues, members price drinks, happy hour, footy's on. It was our first week last week. We had about 200 turn up. We did about 17,000 turnover this week, which is pretty good for winter, you know. The Mayweather-McGregor fight, I'll show you some of the pictures. There was a big event. Okay. How do we publicise ourselves? Little secret here, if you ever want to stick signs up somewhere, stick them on tramways or railways property, because you can get away with it. You may not be able to put it up around a council, but we use corporates, just like I suppose you use at the, you'll see at elections. I happen to have a printing business, it makes it pretty easy. But, I mean, these are some of the events we run. Melbourne Cup Day, you can sort of see the offers we have. New Year's Eve, great night, fantastic. We have uninterrupted views of the city skyworks, so fireworks, so great stuff. Summer Night Lights, this is the one that killed us. This one put us on the map. This was our program this year, open to the community. It was where our beer and barbecue, which is winter program, Summer Night Lights, food trucks, live music. Probably at the peak 300, 350 people there on a Friday night. Awesome, absolutely awesome. Kids, dogs, amazing how many people come in with prams and dogs, because where can you take kids and dogs and have a drink and let the kids run around? Bowls Club's a great place to do it, you know. Terrible failure. I don't want to talk about Australia Day. First time we did a ticketed event and just didn't work. What we find works is things that are free, you know, so we put in on over $10,000 worth of acts on Australia Day and didn't make any money. Something else I wanted to say, you know, if you try something, don't expect everything works. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work, because eventually, we hammered Friday nights last year based around football. Couldn't get anyone to come. We put on free pizza, the kids' parents would come eat the pizza and go again. We couldn't do anything. We did this Friday nights thing. We actually employed a promoter to do it, and he had a finger in the game. And he put it on for us, and it's just been such a success. Such a success. I don't know whether you've seen Facebook or whatever, but you know, you'll see a lot of our stuff up there. There we go, that's South Melbourne Market. You'll always see Middle Park signs at the entrance to South Melbourne Market. I put those up. Corporate. That's where we get the people in. We did 10,000 flyer drops around the area to let people know about Summer Night Lights. It's not expensive. It's not expensive for me because I'm a printer. $500 for flyers, and we used, I don't know whether you know of, what's it called? I can't think of it, that site where you post jobs. We got someone to distribute 10,000 flyers for $450, which is about half the price of what the newspapers charge. Oh, there's just some of the core flutes and things that, you know, that's in our locker room. We stick them all up with things that we've done. It's the entrance to the club again. You actually see people walking to the park, and they'll actually walk up and read the signs and see what's happening. We're having a big Anzac Day. 2 live acts on. Again, same sort of format. Food trucks, music, kills them. I'll just finish up in a second now. Just want to go and show you some of the events. Okay. That's our club rooms. Mind you, there's people outside too. That's our club rooms on AFL Grand Final. That's New Year's Eve. What do you notice? Young people. Don't see a lot of young people having a good time around Bowls Clubs all the time. That's Friday Night Lights, food trucks in the car park. Just set up, we got the umbrellas from Carlton United, gave them to us, set up a beer garden in the car park, and as I said, 300 people plus enjoying us on Friday nights.
How do you go to the liquor
We're okay there because we have a club licence and a limited licence. We also, under Parks Victoria, have to... We can't be seen to be competing with the local pubs and that too much. You'll see on everything we do, bowls. Everything's got to be bowls. You come in to bowl. If you want to eat, you can eat. You want to drink, you drink. But it's all about bowls at the end of the day. So that's really the way we structure that. There's another picture of our car park on a Friday night lights.
So you're still always within the red line area, you get the licence, you're within the red line area?
That's right, yeah. We have it as a book, you should sign in. If you come for as part of a group and an organised function, you don't need to sign in because the function itself is covered. If you come as an individual punter, yes, you should sign in. If you come in to play bowls, you don't have to sign in because you come into the club for the purpose of sport. So we work with Parks Victoria, who's our tenant, fairly closely. We were worried about Australia Day because it was a ticketed event as to how they would perceive that. But the other thing is we're on a peppercorn rent, I suppose, like a lot of you, and they expect us to fund ourselves. So they're fairly encouraging about us actually doing things that...
So how many actual bowlers do you have?
Well, we have 4 teams. We have about 130 affiliated bowlers. Yeah. Okay.
And how does that compare to a couple of years ago?
Sorry?
How does that compare to a couple of years ago?
When I joined the club, we had 2 teams. Although the first year I joined the club, which was 7 ago, we had 3. We got up to 5. 5 was sort of a struggle. We could easily run 5 now, but there's advantages for us in running 4 good teams than trying to put a 5th together, and that comes down to, revenue. On a Saturday, we can run barefoot bowls, bucks parties, whatever at one side of the building. When I say bucks parties, I don't want to focus on it. I'm just saying, you want a separation between pennant and parties barefoot, on a Saturday. We're one of the few clubs around the area that can do that. So for us, if you want to have a function on a Saturday, you have it at Middle Park Bowls Club, not at St Kilda or Albert Park or Port Melbourne or any of the others.
So the people who are actually running the social side of it, are they paying people or are they volunteers?
Who are running, when you say the social
The
side of it?
social, the bucket parties, and stuff.
To be honest, when we have bucks parties at the club, we tend to prefer it to be run by an organisation. One of the members happens to be involved in a business that does just that. It's called Big Boys Club. There's various thoughts about it, but it does involve girls that are dressed, I suppose you would say, as cheerleaders. That's about the standard of dress. That annoys some people. Other people don't mind. Other people reckon it's great. But what we find, funnily enough, and this is the argument, is that if you have bucks parties and it's run with girls who are acting as chaperones and security, you don't have any trouble. If you have guys turning up and running their own bucks party, they can run amok, But the girls keep them under control. And the other thing is that we're always the first port of call. They come to us first, and it's on a bus. They come to us first, 11 in the morning, whatever. A couple of hours bowl, start drinking or whatever, and then they go off and muck up somewhere else, clean up the strippers or whatever, but it doesn't happen at Middle Park, so we're always sort of the first in that chain. Yep.
Where does your revenue come from? From your, these bucks parties, etc. If you charge no green fees and you've got quite a small fee.
What's that? Sorry, where's the...
Where does your revenue come from? You've got a huge revenue, or...
Yeah, well, believe it or not, that revenue, we don't serve food. And people can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. I do the numbers sometimes. We did $40,000 on Friday night before Christmas. And it was primarily because that gym that the footballers involved in, Formula, what's it called? No, I can't remember. Yeah, they're in New York and everything. They had their Christmas party there. They're $40,000 over the bar. We had 7 bar staff serving, and it was from here to the kitchen deep. And it was good. It was good fun. We don't have trouble. That's the thing that amazes me. We're getting into sometimes territory where you'd be going, you need security. But we actually seem to attract the right sort of people, who are there for the right sort of reason. And the other thing is unlike St Kilda, we're not a late night venue either. It's all over by 11 or on those Christmas party nights, 12 or something like that.
Sorry, can I just follow up? So what you're saying, effectively your members bring in the membership fees about 50,000 and the rest of the 900,000?
We wouldn't be anywhere near 50,000 in membership fee because our social membership is $50. So there's, you know, what, 350 of those.
So 20,000 roughly for membership then.
Yeah.
And the rest is from events. And
From barefoot bowls and bar. Yeah. Oh, look, and you know, we do have the occasional wedding, or you know, there's function room hire and all those sort of things. So yeah. All right. Anyway, that's about it for me. I just yeah.
I thought you said you would charge for barefoot bowls.
No. When we run these events on the Friday night, that's one of the things we do is free barefoot bowls for people that roll up. When we're talking about events, we're talking about people that organise corporate functions. So the Richmond Football Club had their Christmas party there 2 years ago. St Kilda Police had their Christmas party there last year. ANZ Bank Finance, these sort of people. They might come with 300 people or 200 people.
So what do you charge for $10 a head?
We charge for the corporates $120 per ring per hour. Yeah.
I can throw in what we charge. We're not going to talk about that too much. But if it was 300 people in December, we would charge $20 per person, whether they bowl or not.
Yep.
That'd be $6,000 to turn up.
And for casuals, we charge $10 an hour per person. So, all right. Hopefully, that's been of help for you guys.
Any last questions? But
Good.
I think we thank Steve very much for coming along.
All right. Thank you.
Really appreciate
Sorry
it.
for going over.
Where's you're up next?
Unless you want someone else. We don't have to. No, we've got one folder.